Hello everyone. Right, I can see myself now and I'll just give it a few minutes, give you a chance to join the group. I can see people joining already. Welcome. Oh, Anne's here, first in, Anne. Well done, nice to see you. Oh, Mel's here. Hi Mel. Heidi as well. Gemma, nice to, well, not exactly see you, but you know what I mean. Miranda's joined. Oh, wow, lovely. It's weird when you think you're just sitting at home in your room on your own thinking, I wonder if anybody's going to join. Oh, Michelle's here from Florida. Lovely sunny Florida. It's cold here, Michelle. Freezing. Claire's joined. Oh, Franca from Italy. Yvonne. Hello. Famous seamstress, Yvonne. Loads to share with you tonight. We'll just give it a couple more minutes, give everybody a chance to join. Oh, the husband's watching. Hope he's making dinner at the same time. Kim's joined. Hi, Kim. Oh, Sister Claire. Hi, Claire. And Leslie, good. Oh, brilliant. Loads of people joining. I can't wait to share these stamp sets and stencils with you. I've got to tell you, they're a bit of me, these are. They're absolutely a bit of me. Oh, Katie's here. Now, Katie's done some fantastic samples for us. I don't think she can be here for the whole live this evening. She's got something else on, but she's done us some fantastic samples as well. Lots and lots of colour. Marianne's joined. Anya. Oh no, Michelle says it's really hot there in Florida. That's just mean telling us things like that. Oh, Sheila's joined. Hi, Sheila. Hilaria, I think that is. Hi there. Good, good. A couple of minutes then we'll get going. Oh, from a warm Spain as well. Who is that? Celista? I think that's how you say that. Warm Spain. It has been warm. We can't grumble in the UK. We've had such a warm, dry spring, but it's just suddenly gone cold and we're all feeling a bit hard done to. And Kim's joined. Hi, Kim. Susan. Crunch View Crafts. Yeah, so we will have some retailers joining the group. So hoping retailers will be sharing links as well in the comments as we go through. Sharon's here. Hi, Sharon. Paper and Ink Boutique from Canada. Yeah, please do share links for all our retailers because we rely on you. Hobby Studio is here. Marianne's here. Oh, Paper Artsy's joined. Got to behave myself now. Yeah, okay, so heaps to share with this release. Yeah, I have. I've been doing loads and so has Katie. So yeah, I really have got heaps to share with you. I really have. So I'm looking to the side, by the way, because that's where my iPad is. So that's where I'm watching. Now I've updated my phone. I've updated my iOS. I've updated Facebook. And I find it terrifying actually, because the minute you do that, everything is a little bit different. So obviously I've had a little practice run today and it's fine, but the controls and that, they're all in a bit of a different place. So you might just have to be a little bit patient with me while I stumble my way through the new controls. Okay, well, let's make a start anyway. We've got plenty of people have joined now, which is lovely. So thank you for joining. It's absolutely lovely to see so many of you here already. Thank you to our retailers for joining, and as I've said, please feel free to share your links in the comments below. So for people watching, if you don't know, you can't buy new release direct from Paper Artsy. You need to go to your local retailer. If you go to the Paper Artsy blog, at the top there is also a tab with all of the worldwide retailers. So if you're not sure, you can have a look there. Excuse me. Welcome to our latecomers. So obviously this is silly o'clock in places like Australia. So I know that some people will be joining much later on. It will be recorded. Now, you've probably heard the rumour, Facebook are not allowing us to store lives for very long anymore. So things will be changing around that. But for now, this will be linked. Now look at the top and it says guides, and under my name all my videos are linked. That's the same for all designers. Everything is linked under our names, any of our videos and things at the moment. Things might change on that. I'm sure Leandra will be making that quite clear what's going to happen about that. So it will also be shared in my creative group afterwards. So welcome to our latecomers as well. So let me just think what else I was going to say. I have to check my list because I do forget things once I get yakking. So this release, I have got 3 stencils. I've had so much fun with these. And also 3 stamp sets here. So I'm going to show you these while the camera's facing this way. And I'm going to turn everything round and let you have a really good close look at the samples and also the stencils and the stamps. So first of all, so I've got 3 stencil sets. This one is PS465, and this is all of these images all on one stencil, because I've done in the last few months so much work by making transparencies with stencils. I wanted one stencil where everything was all in one place. You could also use this as a background with all these funky little designs on, but that's just one of your kind of, I think of this more as a companion stencil. This goes alongside everything else. It's everything all in one place. Now these 2 sort of circle backgrounds. This one is 466 and I've combined, you know how much I love the moon. I'm sure you do. I've had a few moon stencils already. I love the moon. And here I've got moon phases in a circle with this kind of burst of energy out from the centre as well. Had a lot of fun with that one. This one is 467 and this one is also kind of circle based. When this arrived and I first got to play with this, I was really quite astonished just how much energy there was taking a print, how much energy is coming out from that circle shape. Now we all love circles. Seth talks a lot about circles as well. They're just a fantastic place to put your images, and I've played about with that a little bit and I'll be showing you a bit more on that. Now this one, so a stamp set now, this is 012012 toadstools. Don't you just love a toadstool? They make a fantastic image one on their own. They work beautifully in groups, and they also work as companion images to other things as well. So you've seen I've put them in groups alongside some of the, what's coming up next, Mystical Girls. So the toadstools just never fail. Now this one, so this is the next stamp set. This is 013013. So I've got a bit of reflection on there, I know. So here, look, a couple of mystical girls, bit of a celestial theme going on, some bottles for lotions and potions, the moon again, more moon here. This is absolutely a bit of me, this one. Now, when I put an advert on for the live, it was Maxine that commented actually in my group, do you remember making potions when you were little? Of course, we all did, because we all did it with the rose petals in a bucket, stirring it with a dirty old stick and then calling it perfume or something. I still do it now, but in a slightly more sophisticated way, so essential oils or shea butter or whatever. But I still love making lotions and potions. And this one also has some really nice sort of positive quotes on there as well. So much you can do. And of course this one here, I really wanted a slightly taller stamp set, and you'll see that when you see some of my journal pages. And then here, this final one, 014014, lots of fluttery things. And I've done them in various sizes, so even down to a really tiny one, because that's really nice for layering, or you can put a little tiny flutterby on top of a toadstool, for instance. And this little one in the corner, this is a really useful little texture stamp, so you'll be seeing a bit more of that. And again, nice for layering. You can double them up, get 3D wings or whatever. So that's 3 stamp sets and 3 stencils. Now I'll let you have a closer look at that. Let me just check any comments that are coming in. Yeah, so yeah, lots of links appearing there. Brilliant. So if you want to have a look in the comments. There's lots of links coming up. Now I'm going to turn the camera around so I can give you some close-ups. So just bear with me for a minute. This is where things are a bit different on the settings as well. So I might just have to have a little play. I'm just going to put an image down to make sure I get the camera the right way up. Right, block your ears for a minute while I turn things around. Right, I'm adding a little bit of light as well. Right, how does that look? Is that a good view for everybody? At least everything's the right way up, so it seems. Right, so let's just go back to, I'm going to go, oh yeah, I'm getting lots of little thumbs up and things there, so that must be a decent view. Sorry, I'm still having a little tinker about with the camera there. So let's just have a closer look at these stencils. One of the first things I do when I get all my new stuff arriving, it's a very exciting day when that box arrives, the first thing I do is just make loads and loads of backgrounds, stamp loads of things out, because the more you have to play with, the easier it is to put things together. If you just start a project from start to finish with nothing in front of you, the overthinking starts straight away. Whereas if you've got lots of backgrounds and things stamped out ready, you can pick things out and it just is so much easier. It's so much more inspiring to play that way. So first of all, you can see here, look, I'm working on a little bit of like an acetate, or actually this is Duralar. You could do this on Yupo paper, something like that. So one of the first things I do is, and it's quite a nice sort of mindful activity anyway, is sit with something like a Sharpie pen or a Copic and colour through the whole thing, because I'm a big believer in this, adding little bits. Let me see if I can find something to show you. So sometimes when you do a project, you just want a little bit to layer up there. Now, if you stamp that in black, you've got one chance to get that right when you're doing your pages, your journal pages or whatever. You've got one chance to stamp it accurately and get that nice strong black. But what I like to do is just cut them out from something like this and then stick them on. So you'll see this appearing in so many, and I'll point that out as we go along. And of course you can do it in colour as well. So there we've got like the little coloured rainbows, and that's, you can see on here. So you will see lots of samples of this going through all the other projects. And I do lots, and I keep them all in a little folder. Then when I want a bit, I don't have to get everything out. I can just grab a bit out of that folder. But now let's have a look at the other stencils. So this one here, 466, the moon, as well as this extra detail here. I've had so much fun with this. Let me just show you a few. Now, obviously, I've used a lot of my backgrounds in my samples, but these are the kind of leftover ones. So this one here has been done with alcohol ink. I'm just having a quick look at comments as well. Yeah, lots of comments coming in, that's great. So that's alcohol ink on the gel plate. And I've got, by the way, if you check in the guides, there's little videos of these that I've already done as lives here before, and they're all linked at the moment, and you can find them in my creative group as well. So all the little technique videos, they're all there. That one is done just with infusions through the stencil. That's another alcohol ink one, I think. Yeah, with like the moons round, you can see there. And this one, I don't find that sort of thing that usable actually, but when you're gel plate printing, if you do this first, you get the off prints that come afterwards, and they're often a lot nicer. So you can see there a kind of useful circle in the middle. Now when I say that circle shape is useful, something like that just sits in the middle, and she's got all this ready-made pattern around. It's almost like a ready-made frame. I've done a lot, and again I'll show you as I go. I've really enhanced this shape coming out here with the gold fresco, so the fresco paint in the metallic gold, and I've done a lot of printing, and I'll show you that close up as we go through to really enhance this kind of shape. But also, when you've already got a ready-made circle, building mandala with things is so easy. So these are just, I also, as well as making all my backgrounds, I cut out lots of stamps as well, and then I've just got them to grab. But because you've already got that circle shape, they just sit really easily on that shape. And again, you can put groups of things in that centre, so it doesn't have to be just one isolated image, although that works really nice. You can also build up little groups. See, and that just works really well in the centre. Having said that, I have done a sample, which you'll see, where I've put things to the side. So I've got a group of images at the side, which also works, I think. You've still got this energy coming out from the middle, and you can get a group of things on the side. Now, just to go back to when I talked about the companion stencil. So if I was going to complete this as a page, I now find that this needs something here to kind of ground those toadstools. So something like that, I would just cut out and add there. So you can start to see how this kind of goes along with everything. And when I first used that one, I thought that had a lot of energy, that kind of circle energy. But this one, I think even more so. So this is the final stencil. This is 467. Remember, these are just kind of the random prints, the ones I didn't use up, but probably will at some point. You can see I've chopped into some of them already. But this, coming out from the centre, there is a lot of energy there. And what I have done with a lot of them is with the fresco, the metallic gold is beautiful. And these lines out here that come out, I've just enhanced those with the edge of a credit card and put like the gold marks in, and it just really brings out that bursting out from the centre. Lots of glitter as well coming out from the centre. So you'll see a lot of that coming up in the samples. Right, I'll just move those to one side, and then let's have a look at how these things all start to work together. So first stamp set then that we'll have a look at is these toadstools. I'm just checking comments as well. Yeah, lots of nice comments coming in. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, somebody's saying they see mistletoe on that stuff. Yeah. So here we are. Look, here's the set of toadstools. So lots of different shapes, and some of them are much smaller as well. Now, I find that these toadstools, they work really nice as a single image, one single focal image on a project. They also work really nicely together when you put them in groups, and you can raise some of them as well with, you know, there's like 3D little sticky foam things. I don't really know what they're called, but you can raise things so that as you're building up groups, not everything is flat. You can bring some higher and lower, but they also work really well alongside the other stamp sets. Let's just have a look at a couple of samples. So right, here we have one, look. Now this is a single image in the middle. Now if I just bring this a little bit closer to camera, you can probably see as well Look at all the gold I've added there on the edge of a card. And lots of glitter all coming out from the middle. So it's really enhancing that circle shape. And then we've got the toadstool in the middle. Now, if you can see there as well, look, I put the tiny, tiny little flutterby on there. This one is stamped on Dora or something you could use like Yupo, something like that. So it's a little bit plasticky. So it's not coloured, it's just literally perched on the top. And also with I've got here, all good things are wild and free. Adding those along those lines as well, coming out from the centre, just really works. It's somewhere to stick your quote, isn't it? Now this one, if you have a look, when you colour in this toadstool, I think on something like this, you can colour in those circles, so they sort of become the feature. But this one, let me just grab this one now. This is on like a, oops, sorry, not the camera. Now here's another sample using a single toadstool. Now this one, instead of colouring the circles in, I've coloured the background. So I've added a little bit of shading on the circles, but I've coloured the background. And around here, so this is going back to that circle burst stencil here. I've done this as a journal page, and because of these lines that come out from the centre, that's a perfect place to put your journaling. So I journaled on there first and then laid the toadstool over the top. And that companion stencil, so here there's a little bit of bunting, look, and there it is here. Because adding a bit of black to a page kind of grounds everything, and the little stripes at the bottom means that toadstool has got something to stand on. So there you can see two very different projects with that same quite nice sort of stocky shape, that one, to use on projects. Now, but I've got a few more toadstool ones, so wait a moment. Let's see what we've got here. Now here's a little tiny one. It's no secret that I love my traveller's journal. I work in a really small passport size one. Goes everywhere with me. I work in it all the time, and this is in the concertina pull out one. Now here, this toadstool I've actually stamped onto, it's actually a Dora, the matte film, or something like the Yupo, and I've also used an offcut of one of the stencils. And these little ones here are from that same companion stencil. Those little crosses there, if you doodle round them, they almost become like little flowers, look. And this bit in the corner here, now that one is this texture stamp here. So it's like a little floral sprig, but it's so useful in the corners. Here it is here, look. And it's such a useful little filler, so you could use it as a main little focal point, but it's fantastic for bringing in texture around the edge, and you can see it in those little corners as well. But we've still got more toadstools because they're just so cute to play with. And now this is another one that I've stamped onto like a transparency. So I've not even coloured them in. They're literally just showing through a bit of colour from the background. And I've just put that on a little greetings card. So I did it on a tag and then just layered it up. And along with that quote, all good things are wild and free. And I love this orange. I think I did this with, I think that's just infusions on the background there. I've added a little bit of wire, look, and a bit of matching ribbon. And this one again is stamped onto, oh yeah, plasticky, like Yupo or whatever. And just really simple, just coloured in, not too much on there, making the most of these lines coming out. And if you can see as well, can you see the little dots here? So I use like an old credit card to print the gold in here. But hang on, let me just find it. Hang on, I'm just looking for it. Well, I can't find it. I was looking for a little silicone. Oh, I have found it. Right, here we go. You know these kind of silicone tools here? Oh, you can see the gold look on there. So I just pick up some gold and add it, little dots along there, and there's plenty on there as well. So it's just another way of building up that kind of texture. So actually that's quite simple. It's just one toadstool on one little cut off there. I suppose it's the little extras like bits of ribbon and the stitching that kind of complete it. So let me see if that's all of the mushrooms. Now, I did want to share this one with you though. So those mushrooms, they work really nicely on their own, as you've seen, but look at the power of those when you layer them up. So obviously I've put this alongside one of the little mystical girls, but can you see as well how I've used 3D foam? You can probably just see under there to raise some of them. So some of them are behind her, some of them are flat next to her, and then these are raised up over the top. And that's just created a really nice little corner there with it all together. Now let me just check the... somebody's asking the silicone tool. I think it's a Ranger. Yeah, it is. It's a Ranger tool. Dina Wakely Mixed Media line from there. Okay, yeah, so sorry, let me go back to this. Yeah, so when you get them all layered up, it just works so nicely all together. Katie's got some samples with fantastic samples, which I'll share with you shortly as well. Now, let's just move on then to the mystical girls, a bit of celestial, and just some really nice sort of positive quotes on this one as well. Magic is believing in yourself, believe in magic. I do think things have been hard, haven't they? And I think we all just need a bit of magic in our life. I really do. Something a little bit positive. So here, enjoy every moment, peace, be still, be calm. So all that kind of thing. Now, I wanted her to be a little bit taller so that there's a taller image for your journal pages. Now, she doesn't always have to be this tall shape. If you want just head and shoulders, you can just chop her off, chop her in half. And then you can still have her more as a portrait. So you don't have to use the whole thing. But then there's also this portrait one here. And then these kind of potion bottles and a little tag. So on here, let me just get it a little bit closer. So I've put my lotions and potions, look, and I've just handwritten in there love. So she's been making her love potions. Another bit of the companion stencil look underneath. And you'll also see some of the stamping here. This is from previous, that's one of the minis, a little texture from a previous release. And I've used a lot of gold to bring out those lines, but also, and you might just be able to see, I've used bottle lids around the moons as well, just to kind of give those a little bit more emphasis. It's such a fun set to play with, it really is. Now let me see, I think I've got more samples with this one. Let me just fold those flutterbys out the way. Oh yeah, so here we have, look, and just look at the power of that stencil there bursting out. And I've brought her off the bottom here because I wanted her face right in the middle. See, look how that is just bursting out from there. And I've added lots and lots of gold stamping, loads of gold stamping, lots of glitter, stickles glitter coming out from the middle there. And this one, so that's here, look, on the stamp set there. But I've put that on a little bit of acetate, so it's just kind of hanging there. And then here's the companion stencil look underneath. And quotes coming down those lines, the ready-made lines ready just to put things on. It just makes things, whoops, makes things a lot easier. Doesn't she look fabulous in the middle there? She's just kind of radiating energy, I think. And then of course the stars, so that's again back to that companion stencil. And when you've already done the work, you've already coloured it in, that's so easy just to cut those out and stick them on. Right, let's move on. And this is the Flutterby set. So I've tried to do sort of slightly different shapes. Something a little bit different. And they're nice for layering. So by that I mean, so this one to start with, I coloured it in rainbow style. Because you know, if there is stripes, it's kind of asking for rainbow every time. And then again, this is just a bit of Duralar, Yupo, stamped and over the top. And it's just given it that little bit of dimension. And I've used a small piece of one of the circle stencils there. Just really simple, and that's just a little card. And let's just to remind you of this one, look how that little tiny one is just a nice addition. I wanted a really tiny one on there because they're so nice for adding on top of other things. And then here, look, this is what I was talking about a little bit earlier. So the kind of mandala effect, because when you've already got the shape of that stencil behind, it's so easy to place these in that mandala shape. And when their antennae all meet up, this was by accident, by the way, not by design, it just makes this really, really nice shape in the middle. And it's fun to do because you can colour all of these just differently. They could all be different, like Flutterbys. They don't have to be matching. I mean, I've kind of done them in opposites here, but it doesn't have to be. You could just be really random there and just put different ones in. It's just really fun. And we like a bit of fun. And of course, you can also use the wings behind other character stamps. So they don't have to be actual butterflies, flutterbys. You can just kind of cut them in half and use the wings behind something else. Now, let me just check what else I've got to share. Right, now I'm going to... Oh, I forgot about this one. Oh dear, I missed her out. This is going back to the little celestial set here. Now, doesn't she look great in the middle there? Now, with this, I always say, when I'm teaching, I always say, not all of your prints work out great, but keep them all. Because this one, I obviously didn't like very much because I've covered most of it up. But when I did this print, I did like it. So I've just cut around the circle shape and then I've got something to layer it over. So I've got this nice blue frame and then I've got my nice moon shape in the middle. And then she just sits really, really nicely in the middle. And these bits, by the way, were just little offcuts sitting on my table, but I just thought they looked quite nice coming out like that. So I nearly forgot that one. Now, and just to go back here, look, just to tell you about the quotes. So there's some nice little quotes on here that would be appropriate for a lot of things, really. So, life is a magical thing. Flutterby butterfly. Just wing it. That's one of my rules in life, actually. Just wing it, you'll be fine. And just keep flapping. That's a bit like the just keep swimming. Just keep going. Whatever happens, just keep going. So there's some nice quotes on there. They'll be useful for kind of journal pages and things as well. So let me show you now some samples by the lovely Katie Norgate, she's now an official blogger. You might have seen some of Katie's work on the blog. And she is my wingman, wing woman, wing person, whatever, official sample maker. And Katie's done some fabulous things. Now here, look, she's used the Mystical Girl. But again, so Katie did all these before she saw any of mine. So we work completely independently. So we're not influenced by each other. But just look how fabulous this is. She's also put the toadstools together there as well. And she's coloured this beautifully, look. Lots and lots of white space. Isn't that cool? Now, Katie does like a bit of colour. So her things are always very, very vibrant in colour. Just look at the colour and the sheen on those. So again, she's used the toadstools together This is an older background, one of the mini stencils, and then the beautiful butterfly. Look how beautifully that's coloured there. Super cool. So I told you she likes colour and glitter. Of course, 3 always works well. I think we all know that, don't we? 3 always works well. And she's layered that up. There's bits of all sorts under there. So there's bits like from the companion stencil. There's bits of alcohol ink, I think, on Duralar under there. Lots of prints. So she's kind of striped them, collaged them, and then she's put these on the top. Isn't that cute? 3 in a row. Works so well. And again, more colour. These coloured in like this, it just reminds me a little bit of Willy Wonka. You know, that like the magical sweets, all the funny colours. I think, look, it just looks like that. Just reminds me of Willy Wonka. But the colours, all those bubbles coloured in like that. Remember I said you could colour in the bubbles or you can colour in the background, but that just works really nicely. And you can see as well the little texture stamp, that little floral sprig all around the edge. So Katie discovered that as well as I did, that bringing that bit of texture in around the edge, that stamp is so useful. And now this one I think is one of my favourites. I've never really done anything like this before on the grey, but that just looks so magical to me. Let's look at that. So that really nice, really strong red with the white and the glitter, lots of gold on the moon, on that grey. It's just very reminiscent of sort of childhood storybooks, I think. It's just beautiful. And more colour. Isn't that amazing? And she's in the background. Katie's used the stencil, and I'm not sure what she's put through there, but it's something that doesn't show until it catches the light. And just look at that there. It's such a fantastic background. Maybe in the comments she'll share with us what she's used there, because it's really subtle, but really, really beautiful. And then against all of this very, very bright rainbow colour. She's really made the use of all of these stripes to put the whole kind of rainbow effect in. And there's the little tiny one, look. Gorgeous, isn't it? Really gorgeous. Beautifully layered up as well here. And then, this is something that Katie did on as a previous sample, embossing in white and then colouring in. And I've taken that previous sample to so many shows where it's been on display, and it's the one that everybody picks out. White embossing just looks a little bit special, doesn't it? Absolutely gorgeous samples there from Katie. Let me just pop those back down. And I'll be sharing still photos of these in my creative group as well this week, so you can have a closer look. Great job, Katie. Really, really fabulous. Now I'll just put a few of my samples back out again, just as a final farewell. Now I hope you've enjoyed seeing how you can use those, how they work together, how you can just have a really good old play around with those. Now one more thing, I'm going to do a live again next week, and it's going to be a technique play along live. I'm going to give you a little sneak peek. It will be next Tuesday again, so a week's time, and we're going to be doing some gel plate printing. We'll be sharing details of this really, really soon, but this is where you can do a play along. So this is using the gel plate, the Frescoes paint, and Infusions backgrounds. There's plenty going on there. And then we will be putting together something like this. Now you might not get this all finished in a little play along, but you'll get the kind of techniques, and then you'll be able to play along afterwards and finish things off. So this is the live technique live, the play along next week. same time, same place, I think, and we will be sharing details of that. Now, don't forget to check the comments. Retailers have been leaving links, I think, all the way through. So you can't buy direct from Paper Artsy, you need to go to your retailers. So look for those, do look for those links and support our retailers. So I'd just like to say a final thank you to Paper Artsy, obviously, for supporting me in my designs, helping me with the techie side, and just being there. So thanks so much to Leandra and Mark, Mr. Paper Artsy, for just being there. Thank you so much. And also thank you to you for being here. Thank you for your enthusiasm. And I do look forward to seeing your designs and what you come up with these as well. It's been an absolute pleasure designing these and playing with these, and I hope you enjoy it too. Now, if you go to the Paper Artsy blog, my blog post will be on there if it's not already, and there's close-up photos of all of these samples that you can have a look. I'll be sharing it in my creative group as well. And don't forget, things will be pinned to the guides or in my group in featured. So you can always go back and finish things and have a closer look. Now, I hope that you will come and join me next week in the Technique Live. Thank you so much, everybody. It was a real pleasure, and I'm glad to see so many of you here. Thank you so much.